In ancient Greece, there arose thinkers whose ideas would shape the world for millennia. These were the philosophers who were seekers of wisdom and who laid the foundations of thought and knowledge. 5 among them stand out, their teachings echoing throughout history. The 5 Greek philosophers that will be talked about in this video are Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Epicurus, and Zeno. Socrates was a relentless questioner. He walked the streets of Athens and challenged all who crossed his path. He didn't claim to have all the answers. Instead, he taught that true wisdom begins with recognizing our own ignorance. His famous quote was, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Socrates' questioning brought him into conflict with authorities. Rather than give up his search for truth, he accepted death, leaving a legacy of critical thinking that would inspire generations. Socrates was from Athens. His key idea was the Socratic Method. This was using questioning to reveal knowledge and stimulate critical thinking. Plato, the student of Socrates, imagined a world beyond the one we see, a realm of perfect forms and eternal truths. His ideas about reality, justice, and the ideal state laid the groundwork for much of Western thought. A famous quote by him is the following: "The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself." In his writings, Plato recorded the teachings of Socrates, but he also developed his own vision of a society led by philosopher kings, wise and just rulers, who would guide humanity to a better future. Plato's most famous idea was the theory of forms. Plato proposed that beyond the physical world, there exists a realm of perfect, unchanging forms or ideas. The physical world was merely a shadow of this higher reality. Another famous Greek philosopher was Aristotle, who was a student of Plato. He turned his focus on the natural world. He believed that knowledge comes from observation and reason. Aristotle studied everything from politics to biology, laying the foundation for science and logic. A famous quote by Aristotle is the following: "Man is by nature a political animal." His work, grounded in careful study, would influence not just philosophy but many fields of study, making Aristotle one of the most important figures in history of knowledge. He was also the teacher of Alexander the Great. Aristotle comes from Stagira, which is a city now in northern Greece. His most famous idea was the golden mean. This was Aristotle's idea of the emphasis on moderation in all things. He believed that virtue lies in finding the balance between extremes. For example, between cowardice and recklessness lies the virtue of courage. Another important Greek philosopher was Epicurus. Epicurus was from the island of Samos in the Aegean Sea in modern-day Greece. Epicurus taught that the purpose of life is to achieve happiness, which he defined as the absence of pain, both physical and mental. He believed that by living a life of modesty, seeking simple pleasures, and understanding the nature of the world, one could attain this peace of mind. A famous quote by Epicurus is this: "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you have now was once among the things you had hoped for." Zeno was born on the island of Cyprus in the city of Citium. Zeno of Citium was the founder of Stoicism. He taught that wisdom comes from accepting life's challenges. He believed that true strength is found in self-control and living in harmony with nature and reason. A famous quote by Zeno is the following: "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." Stoicism, with its emphasis on resilience and virtue, became a guiding philosophy for people from all walks of life, offering a way to navigate the hardships of the world. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Epicurus, and Zeno were 5 pillars of wisdom in the ancient Greek world. Their thoughts were born in a distant age, and they continue to guide us today. In their words, we find lessons that still light our way through the challenges of life.